with her presence, part of the plan. Once upon a time, in the land of dreams, a group of people called Mijikijis decided to go on a pilgrimage to a place called Destino, known as the ultimate destination of each and every traveler on their planet, called Aura. Though different in terms of length and the names given to them, each path that led to Destino had its own ups and downs. Each traveler had to go through these ups and downs during the course of their journey, no matter who he or she was, or where he or she came from, or which path he or she took, or what he or she possessed. The Mijikijis made ample preparation for the journey and planned to reach their destination in a slow and steady manner. They would try to walk and eat at regular intervals when the sun was visible in the sky, and rest when it slipped out of sight. After a couple of days into their journey, they noticed an old man sitting outside his hut, greeting travelers passing by with a gracious smile and reviving their spirits. Eski, a young girl from our group called Mijikijis, greeted the old man with a wave as he looked towards them. The eldest member of the group looked up to the old man and asked him, "O thou who hast grown wise under the skies of Aura, please shed your light on the journey ahead." The wise old man said, "O the souls of Aura, always remember, just like a planet hath different types of flora and fauna, each one of you is different too, and must play your role in the clockwork, just like every soul that breathes air in and out of their bodies. The journey to the place called Destino is unique and drawn out for each individual by the choices you make during the course of your journey, with fields to walk upon, rivers to cross, mountains to climb. The path to Destino is home to both joy and pain. Sometimes the race will be harsh, sometimes soothing to the soul. Everything that happens to you and around you is an integral part of the pilgrimage. The key is to embrace each moment, each phase of the pilgrimage. The blooming flowers, the sound of the withered leaves, the solitude of the chilling winds, and the warmth of the shadows cast by trees on the face of our land. With gratitude, listen to the voice within. It will guide you. Keep walking, no matter how far or tough the journey becomes. It is worth a lifetime. The Mijikijis bowed down their heads and thanked the old man for his words of wisdom and embarked on their journey afresh. Eski kept wondering about what the old man had said and what it meant. She knew something within her was calling out to her in a voice, in a language she wouldn't understand yet, and It made her restless. After a few days, she gathered the courage to speak up to the elders of the group and said, "The words of the old man have been echoing in my head. I have decided to release the bees buzzing inside my stomach, create my own path, and reach Destino, the land of my dreams, on my own." The elders looked disappointed. The eldest of them said, "Eski, the road ahead is full of twists and turns. The world around you works in ways you don't understand yet. Why walk alone when we can walk together to the land of our dreams?" Eski said, "Our paths are different. Our dreams are different too. I wish you would understand. Let me go in search of my dreams. I must do this on my own." The elders looked up and said with a sad voice, "Do as you wish. All of you will always be in my heart. I hope we will meet again in the land of our dreams." Eski bid adieu to the Mijikijis, took a different path that she chose for herself and believed would lead her to her destiny. Days passed, seasons changed, years went by as Eski crossed the hills, the mountains, the rivers and valleys, with no one to pat her on the shoulders and back her up. She heard many voices, some calming, some troubling, but she kept moving. With no sign of relief, she wondered if she had made the right decision. She began to doubt her choices, fear and doubt looming like dark clouds over her tiny head. She wondered if she would ever get to the land of her dreams. Eski looked up to the sky for answers. "Keep walking," whispered her heart. Although her heart was crushing under the weight of unspilled tears, she kept walking. As the glow around her diminished, nothing to look forward to, Eski turned around to appreciate the worldly beauty that existed around her and began to dream of a world where she was happy. Like all dreams, before she could comprehend the lack of ground below her left foot, thud, she fell into a pit. Within the shadows of the pit, she could still see the sky up above. The base of the pit was big enough for a person to lay down. Eski blurted out, "Oh God, my body hurts. Did I break something within me? Let's check. Hands up, hands down. Okay. Right leg up, left leg up. Okay. My bones seem to be intact, although my head hurts a little. Oh God, blood." Eski noticed the color red in her left hand as she stroked the hair over her left ear and dropped to the ground unconscious. She regained consciousness after a few minutes and gradually recalled her tryst with destiny. She stood up and checked her head again and said, "Thank God, the blood flow has stopped, but my body still hurts. Hello, somebody there? Help, help." Eski looked up and cried out, "Oh kind heavens, how is this supposed to be a part of your grand plan? I hope somebody will rescue me before I am out of my planetary and heavenly supplies. She slipped to the bottom of the pit and rested her back against the uneven walls of the pit, closed her eyes and slipped into a flashback. She remembered the Mijikijis, called out to them telepathically for help. The words of the old man sounded in her head. She remembered the travelers she met on her journey. Memories they made, memories they couldn't make. Tired, eyes numb, curled up under the weight of her thoughts, she transitioned into the world of dreams for comfort. She slept through the night and woke up to notice the blue sky lit up, as if smiling at her troubles. Eski called out for help and waited and waited. The walls of the pit were wet and rough at the bottom and became dry and smooth as he moved up. No matter how hard and how many times Eski tried to climb up the walls of the pit in an attempt to climb out of it, she would run out of an uneven space or spot to hold on to in order to move up and eventually wound up at the bottom of the pit. A couple of travelers who were passing by heard Eski's call for help, stopped near the edge of the pit and looked down into the pit. The moment Eski saw planetary bodies casting shadows on the sunlit walls of the pit, she jumped up, thanked the heavens with a sigh of relief, and called out, "My name is Eski. On my way to Destino, I accidentally fell into this pit. Can you please help me and pull me out of this pit?" The travelers looked at each other, expressed their sadness, and said, "Sorry, we are in a hurry. We won't be able to help you. We hope somebody will soon come to your rescue." The walls of the pit lit up again as the planetary shadows vanished swiftly. Eski couldn't say a word, sat down and called out for help every now and then. After some time, a group of travelers heard her call for help and looked down into the pit. On recognizing their presence, Eski called out and said, "Hello, my name is Eski. On my way to Destino, I accidentally fell into this pit. Can you please help me and pull me out of this pit?" The travelers acknowledged her request and informed her that they would help her based on her answers to a few simple questions. Eski was surprised to hear the proposal, but nevertheless agreed to it without having second thoughts. This is how the question and answer session unfolded. Are you famous? I don't think so. How many friends do you have on this planet? Around 20. Do you consider yourself successful? Not yet, but I will be one day, she whispered to herself and said, I'm not sure about it. Let me help you figure it out. How many gemstones and gold coins have you accumulated over the course of your journey? Sorry, we won't be able to help you, as you failed to meet the criteria set by our clan to be deemed worthy of the land of dreams. Eski fell onto her knees, weighed down by grief and despair, looked up to the sky and sent across her thoughts through her sparkling eyes. After a while, Eski heard a voice. She saw a small round face looking down into the pit. The young child called out, "Hello, is somebody there?" Eski stood up and said, "Hello, yes, my name is Eski and I'm stuck down here." The child said, "My name is QQ, I'm 8 years old and I live with my parents in the village called Ipaw. Don't worry, I will help you come out of this well. I'm going to my home and will be back soon." Eski didn't want to see the child leave. Still said, "Thank you, I'll wait for you," and sat on the floor of the pit. Waiting for QQ to come back and help her was draining. Every second felt like a day and spent in deafening silence. She waited and waited. Eski heard a bunch of voices approaching the pit. She got up and called out with excitement, "QQ, is that you? QQ, is that you?" The eldest member of the group said, "Sorry, there is no person named QQ in our group. We are on our way to Destino, the land of dreams, passing through the land of jewels. How did you end up here?" This time, Eski shared her story in detail with the travelers with the hope of being rescued. After listening to Eski's story, one of the members of the group said, "Why didn't you listen to your elders?" Eski said, "I just wanted to figure out the path that would lead me to my destiny. Look where it has led you to. You knew the path ahead was full of ups and downs. Why didn't you learn to climb rocks on your journey?" "Rock climbing? What?" "Okay, we will help you if you promise to come with us to the land of jewels." "I don't want to go to the land of jewels. My only destination is Destino, the land of my dreams." "As you wish, but don't worry, we will pray for you. The Almighty will help you." Eski looked up and said, "Thank you," and whispered to the heavens, "Forgive me, but I wish they thought of reaching out to me instead of putting it on you." Within a few minutes, the bunch of voices faded away, leaving Eski behind, in tears, relieving her of the storm building within her. "Hello, Eski, I'm back. I made a makeshift rope to pull you out of this well using my mother's sari collection. She's extremely fond of it, but I'm sure she wouldn't mind using it for a noble cause. Please hold on to the rope and try to climb back up slowly. QQ, is it strong enough to bear my weight?" "There is only one way to find out. Don't worry, this is not the first time I'm using my mother's sari to pull a soul out. Plus, the other end of the rope is tied to a tree." Eski held on to the rope and started climbing up. Oh, heavens! This isn't as easy as I imagined it would be. Give me the strength to rise. You can do it, Eski. Have a little faith. Oh heavens! Why didn't I leave my home? Why didn't I learn to climb rocks when I had the time too? With great effort, yes, you guessed it right, Eski was able to climb back up. She hugged QQ the moment she set foot on level ground and said, with tears rolling down her cheeks like raindrops. Thank you, QQ. QQ smiled back at her and said, You're welcome. Eski looked up to the heavens, knelt down, closed her eyes, and expressed her heartfelt gratitude. In the meantime, QQ quickly rolled up the makeshift rope and started running towards the fields that led to the village, Ipoh. Eski opened her eyes and called out instantly, QQ, wait, wait. QQ looked back at her and said, Eski, your journey isn't over yet. You must keep walking and remember, it is all part of the grand plan.